trying to learn Korean? Get the lessons that are perfect for you. Click here to get your free lifetime account.
Hello, and welcome to Introduction to Korean. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hui. In this series, you'll learn everything you need to know to get started learning Korean.
That's right, and we're here to help guide you through your journey. In this lesson, you'll learn why you should start learning a new language, why it should be Korean in particular, and how to get started.
Let's begin with the most obvious question. Why learn a new language?
There are countless reasons, but perhaps the biggest one of all is that it could actually change your life. Learning a new language unlocks new pathways that are off limits to you now. There are certain things that you simply cannot do without having the technical or cultural skills that come from learning a new language.
Like working or living in another country.
Knowing another language provides you with greater job opportunities. It gives you the freedom to move to another country halfway around the world to earn a living, or better yet, build a career from it, rather than being stuck in one place. Language allows you to visit or live in places that you may never have even considered going simply because that wasn't a possibility for you. Knowing another language simply gives you more options to choose from.
And learning a new language also helps you to be more open-minded and see the world from a new perspective.
Language and culture go hand in hand. The world is a big place, and by broadening your understanding of other cultures, it allows you to be more empathetic and understanding of the many different ways that people live their lives. With language, you're able to see and experience more, which helps you to grow as a person.
Learning a new language also improves your memory.
Several studies have consistently shown that those who study another language have improved memory as opposed to those who didn't learn another language. Learning another language also keeps your brain healthy by significantly delaying the onset of Alzheimer's and dementia. This difference can be as much as 4 to 5 more years of quality life.
And those are just some of the reasons you should learn another language. The list just goes on and on.
Now you know the benefits of studying another language, but why should you learn Korean in particular?
Have you heard of Gangnam Style, the biggest hit song in 2012? The hit drama My Love from the Stars? Or popular boy bands Big Bang or EXO? The one thing they all have in common is that they are all part of Korean pop culture.
Korean pop culture is trending worldwide. K-pop artists are performing to sold-out shows all over the world. Korean dramas and movies are being remade, not just in Asia, but in Western countries as well, such as the United States.
K-pop stars also influence the fashion industry, as the clothing and accessories worn by K-pop singers and TV stars tend to sell out instantly worldwide.
Learning Korean, then, will allow you to take in all that Korean pop culture has to offer.
And contrary to popular belief, Korean is not a difficult language. Unlike some other Asian languages which require you to learn thousands of characters, Korean characters, known as Hangul, acts more like an alphabet, so it's much easier to learn.
And did you know that Korea is one of the highest-ranked countries in terms of innovation?
That's right. Korea is one of the most innovative countries in the world. It's also one of the largest economies in Asia. But did you also know that Korea is one of the easiest countries in the world to do business in?
Korea is one of the top-ranking countries in the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index, meaning it's very easy for foreign companies to do business in Korea.
Knowing Korean opens up many business opportunities. Understanding the language, the business etiquette, and work culture in Korea is essential in achieving success in the world of business. Oftentimes, it could even make or break an important business deal. Knowing Korean will put you ahead of the pack.
Okay then, we've talked about why you should start learning a language and why you should start learning Korean, but how should they get started, Jay?
Well, it's as simple as learning your first word in Korean and building up from there.
The good news, though, is that you already know some Korean.
피자, 아이스크림, 데이트.
There are many English loanwords that are used in Korean today. Even without teaching you any Korean, there's a good chance that you'll still recognize these Korean loanwords.
Let's teach you something that you might not know, but it's very useful. 반가워요. It means nice to meet you in Korean.
That's a useful phrase. Can you explain a little bit about what these characters are, though?
Sure, that's actually the Korean alphabet that we mentioned earlier called Hangul. And 반가워요 is a good phrase to know as it shows the various ways Hangul can be written, with a 받침 arranged horizontally from left to right, using a combination of two vowels and arranged top to bottom.
You'll learn about the grammatical rules and the writing system eventually, but for now, let's focus on practicing this phrase. Listen and repeat after Jay.
반가워요.
Now you try.
반가워요.
Your turn again.
반가워요.
Well done. Now you know how to say nice to meet you in Korean. We've covered a lot of things already, so why don't we wrap up the first lesson and recap what we've learned? In this lesson, you learned that studying another language has many benefits, such as providing new job and business opportunities. Learning Korean will help you understand more about Korean pop culture. And to say nice to meet you in Korean, it's
반가워요.
see you in the next lesson. Bye!
다음에 또 만나요.
Hi! Welcome to Introduction to Korean. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hui.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Korean pronunciation. Pronunciation refers to the manner in which a word is spoken, so don't focus on reading what's on screen. Instead, focus on listening and repeating. Korean is referred to as a syllable-timed language. What this means is that the syllables in Korean follow each other at regular intervals, usually with the same amount of time allocated for each syllable.
고마워요. 고마워요.
Each syllable is pronounced for an equal amount of time.
고마워요.
Since Korean is a syllable-timed language, there is no word stress. English, on the other hand, is a stress-timed language. Syllables that are stressed are valued greater than syllables that are unstressed. Individual. The stressed syllable vi in individual is deemed more important, so it's pronounced longer than all other syllables. Listen to it again. Individual. This gives English a Morse code-like rhythm, where the pace is sometimes fast and at other times slow. Compare this once again with Korean, which is even throughout.
고마워요.
Individual.
고마워요. 고마워요.
When pronouncing Korean words, focus on giving equal time to each syllable as you say the characters out loud. There are 10 basic vowel sounds in Korean, which are used to create a total of 21 vowel sound combinations. Let's take a look at how some of the basic vowels are pronounced.
아, 어, 오, 우, 으, 이.
There are also iotized vowel sounds in Korean. This simply means that there's an added Y sound.
야, 여, 요, 유.
Finally, there are diphthongs, which are two vowels pronounced closely together to form a gliding sound.
와, 워.
These are some of the basic vowel sounds in Korean. There are 14 basic consonants that produce a total 19 consonant sounds in Korean. All of these sounds are categorized into nasal, plain, aspirated, or tense sounds. You can think of these categories as going from soft to harder sounding consonants. Nasal consonants are consonant sounds which are pronounced through the nose. These consist of M, N, and NG type sounds.
느, 무, 으.
Plain consonant sounds are called that because they do not have special features added to them. Think of the T sound in stand or the P sound in span.
그, 드, 브, 스, 즈.
Aspirated consonant sounds, on the other hand, have an added turbulent sound. These sounds are like the English T sounds in tuck or take or the P in puck.
크, 트, 프, 츠, 흐.
Aspirated sounds are pronounced with a big burst of air, unlike plain sounds which do not have this quality. Compare the two categories of sounds.
그, 크, 느, 트, 브, 프.
Tense consonants, also known as double consonants, are pronounced with a stiffer voice. More pressure is built up and it's released much more quickly than plain sounds.
끄, 뜨, 뿌, 스, 즈.
Korean has a handful of sounds that are similar to English. They're not identical, however, so don't make the mistake of pronouncing them as such.
One of the most unique sounds in Korean is the consonant 리을. 르.
This consonant is often romanized as an R or an L, but there isn't an equivalent sound in English.
라마.
This sound is actually somewhere between an L and an R sound. When pronouncing this sound, your tongue should strike the gum ridge behind your upper teeth in a quick, rapid motion. Listen and repeat after Jay.
르, 르, 라마, 라마.
Well done! Let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. In this lesson, you learned that Korean is a syllable-timed language. You also learned the different categories for vowel and consonant sounds in Korean. And you discovered that there are some consonant sounds which do not have an English equivalent. Hi! Welcome to Introduction to Korean. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hee.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Korean grammar. Word order refers to the order in which words are structured to form a sentence in a given language. Consider the English sentence, I saw a movie. But first, let's remove the article a here for simplicity. So we're just left with I saw movie. The basic word order for English is subject, verb, object, or SVO for short. If we break down the English sentence, I saw a movie, we can see that the subject I is presented first, followed by the verb saw, and then finally the object movie is positioned last. This is the basic word order for sentences in English.
Now, let's compare the same sentence, I saw a movie, in Korean. 나는 영화를 봤어요. If we break down the Korean sentence, we get the subject 나, meaning I, then comes the object 영화, meaning movie, and finally we have the verb 봤어요, meaning saw. The word order for Korean then is subject, object, verb, or SOV for short.
In both languages, the subject is presented first. In English, though, it's followed by the verb and then the object, compared to the object being first and the verb last in Korean. The same sentence in Korean is essentially I movie saw, subject first, then object and verb last, SOV. This is the basic word order for sentences in Korean.
Okay, let's move on to the next section.
English is what is called a subject-prominent language. This simply means that the subject is slightly more important than other components in the sentence. It's the key piece of information other components in the sentence relate to. Who is doing the action is slightly more important than what is being done or which object it's been done to in English. If we had to slowly remove pieces of information from a sentence while trying to keep its essence intact, logically we would do so in order of least important to most important. If we were to omit the subject, we would get saw a movie, which sounds strange. On the other hand, if we were to omit the object instead, the sentence would become I saw. Even though in each instance we omitted a piece of information, the reason I saw sounds less strange is because we've yet to break any grammatical rules, and so there's still potential for the sentence fragment to become a complete sentence and to become grammatically correct. Since the latter is logical, this indicates that the subject is more important than the object in English. The same is true if we had omitted the verb. Since the subject is the integral component in the sentence, this makes English a subject-prominent language.
Korean, on the other hand, is a topic-prominent language. Unlike English, the focus of each Korean sentence is the topic, not the subject. Essentially, the watched a movie portion, 영화를 봤어요, is the main focus of the sentence. The subject I can be omitted.
In fact, if it's obvious what the subject is, or if it's already been established, it's quite normal to omit the subject from the conversation altogether in Korean. Let's look at this aspect in a bit more detail. More often than not, if you wanted to say, I saw a movie in Korean, you would not say,
나는 영화를 봤어요.
Instead, you would more likely say, movie saw in Korean.
영화를 봤어요.
Korean is a topic-prominent language. Thus, the information to be shared is the act of seeing a movie. The subject is less important and is usually omitted altogether. Most Korean sentences are constructed and spoken like this in real life.
영화를 봤어요.
On the other hand, when it's unclear who or what the subject is, or if you wanted to place emphasis on the subject, like if you wanted to specify from a group of people that it was you who saw the movie, then you would include the subject.
제가 영화를 봤어요.
But more often than not, in spoken Korean, you can omit the subject, particularly if that subject is you.
선물을 샀어요. 택시를 타고 돌아왔어요.
Knowing this, we can easily express any simple action in Korean using just the object and the verb. Try to create the sentence, I ate an apple, from these sets of words.
먹었어요. 사과를.
Got it? The object goes first, so let's put apple here. And the verb goes last, so let's put ate at the end. Finally, we connect them using the appropriate particle. And that's it.
사과를 먹었어요.
Which means, I ate an apple in Korean.
사과를 먹었어요.
Well done. Let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. In this lesson, you learned that Korean sentences are formed using a subject-object-verb, or SOV, word order. The most important aspect of Korean sentences is not the subject, but the topic of the sentence. Most sentences spoken in Korean will not actually contain a subject, especially if that subject is obvious. And lastly, you can create basic sentences in Korean by putting the object first and the verb last. Hi, welcome to Introduction to Korean. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hee.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Korean writing. Similar to English, Korean also uses an alphabet. However, there is a big difference in the way Korean is written.
Unlike the English alphabet, where each letter stands alone, Korean consonants and vowels are combined and grouped together into blocks. Each block represents one syllable.
You can think of each block as a square which you need to fill in using consonants and vowels until you've created a syllable.
Every block will require a minimum of one consonant and one vowel to create a syllable.
Usually, though, Korean syllables will consist of three parts: the initial, medial, and final. Initials are written at the top left of the block. Initials will always be consonants.
Keep in mind, though, that this doesn't mean that syllables in Korean will always start with a consonant sound. It only means that vowels cannot be written in the initial position. A silent consonant could take this position, thus starting the syllable with a vowel sound.
Medials, on the other hand, will always be a vowel. It could be a single vowel or a double vowel, in which case it'll have a gliding sound, sometimes perceived as a Y or a W sound.
The most basic Korean block, then, would consist of a consonant-vowel combination. Ga.
Sometimes a block may include a final. Finals are always consonants and are positioned below the vowel at the bottom of the syllabic block. This means that the initial, medial, final structure would be a combination of a consonant, a vowel or double vowel, and a consonant. Here's a useful phrase which includes various syllabic block structures we've just discussed.
반가워.
As you can see, the first block contains the consonant-vowel-consonant format we just mentioned.
반.
The second block is the basic consonant-vowel format. The vowel is a vertical one, so the consonant is written on the left.
가.
The third block contains a double vowel, so the structure is initial-medial, with the initial being a consonant and the medial a double vowel.
워.
Altogether, it's
반가워.
There are three basic rules for writing Korean characters. They are written from left to right, top to bottom, and from outside to inside.
This means that when you start writing a syllable in Korean, you start at the top left corner of the block.
Start at the top left corner and work down to the bottom right. Usually, the topmost horizontal line would come first, followed by any vertical strokes. If the consonant starts with a vertical stroke, you would start from the top left and work your way down, followed by any horizontal strokes.
그. As the first consonant is a 기역, you'd start from the top left and move toward the right for the first stroke, then move downward.
With Korean vowels, similar rules apply. You go from left to right and top to bottom. Most vowels in Korean start with a vertical stroke, however, so you would usually work your way from top to bottom, then left to right.
아.
We said initials, or the consonant, were written first. So if you put these two characters together,
가.
with a horizontal vowel, you would write the initial or consonant first,
그.
followed by the vowel below.
우.
Together,
구.
if you had a final consonant, then the order would be
반.
And should the medial be a double vowel with both horizontal and vertical components, the horizontal vowel would be written first, followed by the vertical vowel to the right.
워,
There you have it. Now you know how to write Korean characters within a syllabic block. In this lesson, you learn the basic rules of Korean writing. You learn that Korean consonants and vowels are grouped together to form syllabic blocks. You learned that there are usually three parts to a syllable: the initial, which is always a consonant, a medial, which can be a vowel or a double vowel, and a final, which is always a consonant. And lastly, Korean characters are written from the top left to the bottom right. Hi, welcome to Introduction to Korean. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hee.
In this lesson, we'll focus on teaching you some useful Korean words and phrases for absolute beginners.
Make sure to repeat the words out loud after I say the examples.
Are you ready? Let's get started. One of the best phrases to learn while studying a new language is one that expresses gratitude. If you had to learn only a single phrase, this would be it.
고마워요. It means thank you. 고마워요.
Keep repeating after Jay until you get it.
고마워요.
Your turn.
고마워요. 고마워요.
One last time.
고마워요.
Okay, the next phrase we'll teach you is also very useful. It's used to excuse yourself.
실례합니다. And it means excuse me. 실례합니다.
Use this phrase when you're out shopping and need help, or when you're making your way through the busy streets of Seoul.
실례합니다. 실례합니다.
Do you remember this consonant here? We discussed it in lesson 2. While this character is transcribed as an R and an L, don't pronounce it like an English R. Listen to how Jay is pronouncing this sound.
르,
It sounds like a mixture between an R and an L sound.
르, 르.
Altogether, it's...
실례합니다.
Okay, one last time.
실례합니다.
Now you can say thank you and excuse me in Korean. Let's move on. Another very important phrase to know is to ask where something is. This phrase is very useful, as you can use it to ask where the bathroom or the subway station is.
는 어디예요?
For example, if you want to ask, where is the bathroom?
화장실은 어디예요? 는 is a topic marker which marks the place as the subject of the sentence. 은 is used if the character preceding it ends with a consonant. If the character preceding this phrase ends with a vowel, you use 는. 어디 means where. 예요 is a polite word that roughly translates to is.
Altogether, it's...
화장실은 어디예요?
Your turn.
화장실은 어디예요?
Next,
지하철역. 지하철역은 어디예요?
if you ask someone this question, they'll direct you to the closest subway station. If you'd like to ask where a specific subway station is, like Seoul Station for example, omit subway and place the location before station.
지하철역. 서울역. 서울역은 어디예요?
Next,
사우나.
sauna.
사우나. 사우나는 어디예요?
You can substitute almost anything and simply add
는 어디예요?
to ask where something is in Korean. In this final lesson, you learned how to say thank you, excuse me, and to ask where something is in Korean. And in this series, we introduced you to the basics of Korean pronunciation, grammar, writing, and more. Let's conclude with some parting advice from Jay and listen to some of his tips on how to learn Korean from a native Korean perspective.
The best way to learn Korean is to practice, practice, practice. First of all, don't try to fit Korean sounds into that of the English alphabet. one effective way to initially master Korean pronunciation is to watch Korean educational videos. Korean children need to learn their native language too, so educational programs for children as well as adults will help you figure out the vowel and consonant sounds. Watching modern Korean dramas and news programs is another sure way of increasing your Korean vocabulary and improving your grammar. Although K-pop is very popular and trendy, most of the lyrics use English phrases or slang which you may not use in everyday speech. And last but not least, studying Korean through contemporary videos such as our videos here at KoreanClass101.com will ensure that you're learning real, applicable Korean in the fastest and most effective way.
You've reached the end of this course, Introduction to Korean, but it's only the beginning of your journey to Korean fluency. Next, how about trying our innovative Korean culture series, where we teach you beginner vocab and even more useful phrases? Or check out any of our other video series. We have many different categories for you to choose from. Good luck as you continue learning Korean, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!
다음에 만나요.